Hello and welcome. Live from Channels Television's global headquarters in Lagos, Nigeria, you're watching Newsroom series. I'm Dominic Iwiwu, and today our focus will be on the Northwest region. But before we get into that, let's have a snippet of our top stories making rounds at the moment. Embattled Senator Natasha Akpoti-Oduaghan has returned to the Senate today, resuming plenary after serving a 6-month suspension. The senator representing Kogi Central was seen at the chambers as lawmakers reconvened following a 10-week recess. Her presence marks the official end of her suspension and a return to legislative duties. Senator Akpoti-Oduaghan had been suspended in March 2025 over allegations of misconduct leveled against her by the Senate. There is a significant turnout of senators signaling a full return to legislative activities. However, in a show of international solidarity, some senators arrived at the chamber dressed in Palestinian colors and attire, advocating for a free Palestine. Meanwhile, the president of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, delivered a charge in his opening address, urging lawmakers to recommit themselves to accountability, discipline, and purposeful governance. Addressing his colleagues in the Red Chamber, Senator Akpabio reaffirmed the Senate's responsibility to the Nigerian people, stating that to the citizens of Nigeria, we hear you. You asked us not for excuses, but for results. We will remain accountable and responsive. He underscored the importance of maintaining order within the legislature, warning against actions that could undermine democratic institutions. He declared that those who seek to weaken the legislature seek to delete the structure of democracy itself. We start off in Kaduna State, where the state's Governor Uba Sani has restated his administration's commitment to complete all ongoing infrastructure projects across the state. The governor made this known during an inspection tour of key projects, including the rehabilitation of the historic Ahmadu Bello Stadium in Kaduna North Local Government Area and the Dambushia Road project in Chikun Local Government Area.
Governor Uba Sani, accompanied by top government officials and engineers, arrives at the Ahmadu Bello Stadium, where major renovation work is currently taking place.
Yes, sir. So this room are covered throughout.
The iconic sports facility, known for hosting several national and international competitions, is undergoing structural rehabilitation and a full upgrade of its sporting facilities.
The main sitting area, yes.
After inspecting different sections of the stadium, Governor Sani expresses satisfaction with the progress of work.
We must be able to bring back the glory of our state in terms of sport.
Governor Sani also visits Ambushia, a densely populated community in Chukun local government area, to assess the level of the project.
This axis, they've never had a third road. This is the first of its kind, and it's 15 kilometers from Ambushia, KKA, KKB, KK Makera, Doka Mejama, Sabon Gero. It burst out at MPA Housing Estate at NNPC filling station.
As a government, we find it extremely important and necessary to put in a lot of money to ensure that we construct an asphalted road that will connect these 15 major farming communities. And of course, not only farming, a lot of people that pass this area are people that are involved in major businesses.
Residents commend the governor for bringing development to their area.
We are happy for this occasion.
As work continues on the Dambushia Road, Governor Uba Sani assures residents that more roads will be constructed to link rural communities and promote inclusive development across Kaduna State.
The United Nations sets aside September 29 every year to mark World Heart Day, aimed at raising global awareness about the dangers of cardiovascular diseases and promoting heart-healthy lifestyles. In Nigeria, studies show that about 30 to 40% of adults suffer from high blood pressure, yet less than 1 in 5 are aware of their condition. Our correspondent Abubakar Salihu reports.
This is the female medical ward of the Aminu Kano Teaching Hospital, where some of the patients with high blood pressure receive care. According to the US-based National Institute of Health, Cardiovascular diseases, CVDs, are responsible for 19.2 million deaths in 2023 globally, a significant increase from 13.1 million deaths in 1990. The Institute adds that heart disease affected approximately 240 million people in 2023, while lower extremity peripheral arterial disease impacted around 122 million. A study from the Institute notes a CVD prevalence of 76.11% in Nigeria, with a mortality rate of 10%. However, the Nigerian Hypertension Society notes that only about 10% of Nigerians living with hypertension are currently receiving treatment.
I experience difficulty in breathing, tiredness, pains, and swelling in my feet, and also the cost of drugs and hospital bills are way too expensive.
A cardiologist identifies some of the risk factors associated with high blood pressure.
Of course, that is why we say we have what we call lifestyle modification and we have drug treatment. The drug treatment, there are so many drugs depending on the stage of the disease and depending on what type of disease you have. You implement the pharmacotherapy, we call the drug therapy. Then we have the lifestyle modification, which you already said. If you are obese, you reduce weight, you reduce your salt intake, you stop smoking, and you quit alcohol.
The high prevalence and mortality rates highlight the need for increased awareness, prevention and management of CVDs in Nigeria. Abubakar Salihu, Channels Television News.
The Jigawa State Governor, Umar Namadi, has restated his administration's commitments to improving the education sector through massive teacher recruitment and continuous training. He made this known in Dutse, the state's capital, during the celebration of World Teachers' Day. Our correspondent Sadiq Eliasu reports.
Teachers in orange shirts, white caps, and black trousers marched proudly through the streets of Dutse to mark World Teachers' Day, celebrating their role in shaping society. Governor Umar Namadi, addressing the gathering, said his administration inherited schools in some rural communities with only one teacher, a situation he described as unacceptable.
This was the result of several years of a near freeze of teacher recruitment. At that time, it wasn't uncommon to find a complete primary school in a rural community with only one teacher. Today, I am delighted that following massive recruitment of teachers as both day teach and permanent and pensionable teachers, that serious situation of neglect has been overcome.
The chairman of the Teachers Union lauded the administration's effort, saying multiple programs have been initiated to uplift the standard of teaching and learning in the state.
His Excellency considers teacher as a friend, brother, and partner in progress. That is why government introduced so many reforms and programs to uplift the standard and quality of our teachers for an effective and qualitative teaching and learning in our schools.
The Commissioner for Education, Lowell Anzomo, said teachers' welfare remains a priority to ensure motivation and productivity.
We should note that more than 3 billion naira goes to teachers. So more than 50%, or almost 50% of the salary money spent every month goes to teachers across the state.
As World Teachers' Day is celebrated globally, Jigawa State reaffirms its commitment to raising the standard of education by investing in its teachers. Sadiq Ilyasu, Channels Television News.
The chairman of Talata Mafarawa local government area in Zamfara State, Yahaya Yari, reveals that there are no longer any bandit camps operating within the council area. He made this known while speaking with journalists during an event held in Mafara, the local government headquarters. Mr. Yari adds that the few bandits who once operated in the area have been completely driven out through the combined efforts of security agencies.
On this Independence Day, let's rekindle the
Nigerians stand firm for struggling at least to continue being a country. Like I told the securities, saying that they were trying their best to keep this country as Nigeria as it is now. I really frown with them. That is why in form of security, my giant and gallant governor fighting insecurity wholeheartedly to chase them out from the territory of Zamfara State. And also me, as a Yahya Abakar, I try my best as my governor doing, chasing all the bandits. To tell you the fact, Talata Mofara Government, there is no bandit camp today because we are chasing them everywhere. And we will continue chasing them everywhere.
Governor Nasir Idris of Kebbi State has donated operation vehicles and 30 motorcycles to the Nigerian Army to boost operations against banditry in the state. During the presentation, the governor reaffirmed his administration's commitment to supporting security agencies with logistics and equipment. He insisted that the safety of lives and property remains a top priority, adding that other security agencies will also benefit from similar support soon.
Chief of Army Staff.
This is the allocation letter coming to you. So you can be using this vehicle for your security and use. I want to also thank you for your support, and our people have already informed us that anywhere, anytime they call upon you, you will not hesitate to respond. So this is a clear sign that you are on the job. And also seize this opportunity to thank the Chief of Army Staff, Chief of Defense Staff, for sending MRAPs and the other operational vehicles to our military formation in Kebbi State.
The wife of the Katsina State's governor, Mrs. Zulihat Rada, is urging beneficiaries of the Small Business Recapitalization Grants to make good use of the funds to grow their businesses, create jobs, and inspire others. The grant is part of the Renewed Hope Initiative's Economic Empowerment Program led by Nigeria's First Lady, Senator Oluremi Tinubu. Mrs. Rada, who serves as the state coordinator of the program, officially launched the event at the banquet hall of General Muhammadu Buhari Government House in Katsina, where hundreds of beneficiaries gathered to receive support for their businesses.
It was a recognition of this reality that the Renewed Hope Initiative was established. Through this initiative, women across the country have received mentorship, training, and access to resources that are helping them transition from small roadside trading into successful and sustainable businesses. Today, with this recapitalization grant, we are building on that progress by giving many more women the opportunity to strengthen their enterprises and expand their dreams. My message to all women who will benefit from this grant is simple but important. This is not just financial support, it is trust.
The Kano State's government, in partnership with UNICEF and the National Primary Healthcare Development Agency, has launched a major vaccination campaign against measles, rubella, and polio. At a media dialogue and mobilization session, the chief of the UNICEF field office in Kano, Mr. Rahman Farah, reveals that the campaign aims to reach 7.8 million children aged 9 months to 14 years with measles, rubella vaccines. Our correspondent, Nanchin Vincent, reports.
The main target is for us to reach 95%.
It is a media dialogue organized by UNICEF in collaboration with Kano Primary Healthcare Board and National Primary Healthcare Development Agency to inform the general public on the efforts to tackle polio and measles. The collaboration is the result of the launch of an integrated vaccination campaign targeting measles, rubella, and polio, which is expected to commence from October 6, 2025.
4.5 million doses of the POBPV, targeting 3.9 million children under 5.
To support vaccine management, UNICEF and partners trained and deployed 3 state facilitators to focus on supporting vaccine delivery, cold chain management, and implementation of polio immunization campaigns. 44 local government vaccine accountability officers and 684 ward-level vaccine accountability officers were also deployed across the state.
The reason for this integration is to increase efficiency, save costs, and also reduce the burden of numerous campaigns to the public.
Together, we can protect children from measles, rubella, and polio, and to strengthen community immunity. Let's bring hope and health to Kano State. Let's work together to make this campaign a success.
According to the partners, this exercise is part of the national campaign, which is being implemented in 2 phases, and Kano falls under the first phase. Nanchin Vincent, Channels Television News.
You're watching Newsroom series live on Channels Television. Still ahead, we'll be speaking to the Commissioner of Agriculture in Kebbi State to find out what the government is doing to help farmers following the flooding. Stay with us. Welcome back. As part of activities marking Nigeria's 65th Independence Day, Governor Nasir Idris of Kebbi State hosted school children to a special luncheon in Birnin, Kebbi. The governor used the occasion to reaffirm his commitment to good governance and improved service delivery for the people of Kebbi State.
The luncheon provides an opportunity for students and their teachers to connect with government officials and interact directly with Governor Nasir Idris in a relaxed setting. The event begins with educational displays, followed by drama performances and stage plays presented by the students. After watching the presentations, Governor Idris commends the students for their creativity and describes Independence Day as a historic moment that calls for sober reflection on Nigeria's journey so far.
Our children, let me thank you and also encourage you to always go to school and go on time. By God's grace, one day it was you that will take the mantle of leadership in Kebbi State.
In a related development, Nigeria's First Lady, Senator Oluremi Tinubu, launches the menstrual hygiene program aimed at supporting 370,000 schoolgirls across the country, including those in Kebbi State. The Commissioner for Basic and Secondary Education, Halimia Bande, explains that the initiative is designed to promote menstrual hygiene and keep young girls in school.
That we make sure that all these sanitation pads that are meant to be for the girls are given to the girls. God willing, this particular sanitary pads will go to each and every student in Kebbi State.
The Independence Day luncheon in Kebbi State not only celebrates Nigeria's unity and progress, but also highlights the government's continued investment in education and youth development.
Staying in Kebbi State, flooding in parts of Kebbi State has caused severe destruction, washing away farmlands and crops just weeks before harvest. The floods triggered by days of heavy rainfall and rising river levels have left many farming communities struggling to recover. Farmers in the affected areas are counting heavy losses as rice, maize, and vegetable farms remain submerged. Many fear the damage will not only wipe out their main source of livelihood, but also affect food supply across the state and beyond. Experts warn that the situation could worsen Nigeria's food security challenges if urgent action is not taken. Meanwhile, the Kebbi State government and emergency agencies are assessing the extent of the damage to plan necessary support and preventive measures. For more, we have the Commissioner for Agriculture in Kebbi State, Mr. Shehu Mwazu, who joins us here in the studio to give us what the government is doing to support farmers in Kebbi State after the disaster and also on food security in Nigeria. Welcome, Commissioner.
Thank you.
All right, so we're just going to go straight into it now. What is the current assessment of the damage caused by the recent floods to farmlands across the state?
Well, a lot of damage has happened, and you know, Kebbi State is a state that is so blessed by God. We have about 400 to 500,000 hectares of flood lines, and all this land is susceptible to flooding. So I can tell you we are still taking stock, we are still assessing, but a significant part of that 500,000 hectares of farmland has been flooded.
Okay. Now, since you said about 500,000 hectares of farmland has been flooded, significantly.
Yeah.
Now, what long-term strategies is the Ministry of Agriculture implementing to mitigate future flooding and protect farmlands from climate-related disasters?
You see, the vagaries of Kebbi State is one of the states that is mostly hit by the vagaries of climate change. Flooding is one of them. So when His Excellency took over as the governor, he constituted a committee under my care, and we came up with 3 things. One is we did a climate-smart agriculture profile for all the agroecological zones of the state. This is to prepare our farmers against these climate change disasters, flooding included. Secondly, we came up with what we call the residual moisture crop production. Residual moisture crop production is using the moisture left behind by the flood so that farmers will utilize it and go back to farm. It has the advantage of being a psychological boost, a hope raiser for the farmer that after all, I still have something to do with my farmland. Okay. Secondly, this can stimulate economic activities. It can also bring about the recovery of food lost by the farmer. So this will enhance food security, and it will create jobs for teeming youths that are around the flooded areas.
Okay, now let's just go down to it. How many local government areas and farming communities have been most affected by this flooding for currently?
11 local governments were affected by the floods, but out of the 11, 7 are the mostly hit local governments. These are the local governments that are along River Niger and River Rima.
Okay. Now, what immediate reliefs has the state government, maybe in partnership with the federal government or private sector, put in place to support farmers who lost their crops and investments?
Yeah, immediate relief that was given out, the state governor directed the release of foodstuff from the buffer stock of the state to the State Emergency Management Agency. Equally, the State Emergency Management Agency from their own store bring out basic needs, basic lively needs like beddings, mats, mattresses, and what have you, and take to these communities. So from together with the food from the buffer stock of the state, this were given to the as a temporary measure.
As a buffer, more or less.
As a buffer, yes.
So now, what insurance, or is there any insurance scheme for some of these farmers who have lost their crops so that in the future they are able to recover and rebuild or restock their farmland?
No, honestly, there is no insurance cover for most of these farms because, you know, even the elite in Nigeria, percentage of participation in insurance activity is very low, talk less of the illiterate farmers. But the only thing we are, as a government, we are already planning to do is the residual moisture crop production that I told you. We are going to support them with seeds like potato vines, because potato doesn't need much, a lot of moisture. Equally, we'll give them maize seeds, together with fertilizers and herbicides, so that we help them to go back to the farm and at least recover some of their losses.
Okay, now on a final note, given that Kebbi is a major rice producing state, how will this flood impact food production and supply in the coming months?
This will definitely affect the food supply for Nigeria as a whole. Because for every hectare of farmland lost, either in Kebbi or anywhere in Nigeria, affects the total output for this season. So definitely it's going to affect The only thing we are going to urge is for the government to intensify effort by ensuring that farmers goes back to land, go back to the farm immediately for the dry season farming.
Now, when you say government, do you mean state government or
all
the federal
governments?
government?
Because it's not only in Kebbi State that this flood took place. We in Kebbi, we are ready for that. Definitely, we are going to support our farmers for the residual moisture crop production, then the main dry season. So which means we are now going to have 2 seasons in one dry season, 2 crop cycles in one dry season. So this is what we are going to do. Okay. And we'll support all.
So now, moving forward, can it be said that farmers have some sort of insurance or security in Kebbi State to help them curb some of their losses?
Yeah, if they abide by the smart climate smart agriculture as we are teaching them, if they abide by it, we can avoid all this flood-related this thing. We have a climate change seed adaptation seed support program, whereby at the beginning of the rainy season, we give seeds that are early maturing to farmers, such that they plant in this floodplains and harvest before the flood came.
Okay.
Had it been they use these seeds, those that use them, they have harvested their crop. But those that have refused to use the seeds, they have not seen that we could have used it. Okay. Because by end of August, first week of September, they will have harvested.
Okay. Thank you very much. We have in the studio with us the Commissioner for Agriculture in Kebbi State, Mr. Shehu Mwazu. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much for having me.
And that's where we drop the anchor on this edition of Newsroom Series. I'm Dominic Iwiwu. Enjoy the rest of your day.